Hello everyone, hope you are all fine. It has been 6 months since I bought the Explorer reference 124270, which is also my first luxury watch. In this video, I will try to tell you my feelings and experiences with this watch, what I like and what I dislike. I also want to tell the experience of someone who spends for the first time a real lot of money on a watch. But that's not going to stop me from commenting on the flaws which I find with the watch. But first, some quick notes. As soon as I picked it up from the authorized dealer, I had it on for 2 months straight, except for sleeping. I still wear it 90% of the time. I have let it run out of power reserve on only 2 occasions and only for 2 days. I really have a hard time opting for another watch to wear. It does everything, at least everything I do most of the time. Although it is by far the most expensive watch I own, and it would be a disaster to lose it or break it. I use it in situations where surely no one in the right mind would wear it. I have taken it into the mountain, and I fell, but I didn't break it. And I have also taken it to the beach and swam in the sea. And yes, I used to cook with it too. After 6 months, there are several topics that I would like to discuss in a little more detail. This is by far the most comfortable watch of any I own or have owned, period. The size makes it wearable all day long without hardly noticing it or being uncomfortable in any way. The bracelet with the tapering makes it very comfortable too. The quality of the bracelet is not only impressive, but together with the watch, it makes a balanced, elegant and extremely functional design. More on this later. Scratches. It scratches very easily. If you breathe near the watch, it will scratch, and get over it. The first visible scratch on the lower lug, and I don't even know how I did it because it was very early on and I was extremely careful, well, that really hurt. Then I made several others on the buckle. Now I don't even look at those anymore. I think it's more important to wear it than to keep it in a safe. If you are worried about that and you are not going to wear it because you need it to keep it pristine, better look for another watch like Trasca, Damasco or Sin. I remember the first time I went with what I thought was a very expensive watch on the street a few years ago, a Hamilton khaki field that cost me around $450. That was a lot of money for me. Going to the street with that watch seemed unbelievable, almost reckless. Hey, it was almost 500 euros on my wrist. Little could I have imagined that some 3 years later I would be wearing something worth 12 times, well actually more, that amount. And right now I wear it with complete peace of mind. That makes me wonder, would I wear a 100,000 euros watch just as naturally? What do you think? Comment below with your experiences wearing expensive watches on the street. I think one of the reasons I wear it so casually is because, truth be told, it doesn't attract any attention. So far, no one around me has noticed that I have a Rolex. Nobody has identified it, and I'm not telling anyone about it either. I don't buy it for others, I bought it for myself. On the streets, it goes totally unnoticed. Well, except once that a guy who was wearing a Submariner and I exchanged a brief glance of mutual acceptance. So, if you want people to see that you own a Rolex, and you are only going to be able to afford one, this might not be your best choice. However, I like it to go unnoticed, because I can wear it most of the time without fear, at least where I live. It is very precise. It loses, on average, 0.4 seconds a day, and I have been monitoring it for all these 6 months. With other watches I am happy with 3 seconds fast or slow per day, when the normal range is between 5 to 14 seconds slow or fast every day. The Explorer is extremely stable, regardless of temperature or use. I usually wear my watches a minute or two ahead, so accuracy has not been my obsession with automatic watches either, but nevertheless this impresses me. This watch, perhaps because of its size and dimensions, has a strange quality, and that is that it has the power to not be noticed that I wear it when I'm with 1,000 of things at once, and then produce a certain relaxation when I'm tense and I see it on my wrist. It has something of personal satisfaction, yes, but also something in its design that makes it special. It might be my obsession with symmetry and proportions that seem to me too close to perfection here. It is a small, friendly watch that does not clash in any place, balanced, neutral, but inspiring. I can imagine myself with it in some adventure in a cave or in the mountains, but at the same time having a drink in a quiet coffee in Paris. The Explorer will be there, faithful, sturdy, reliable. It is really hard to explain, but no other watch I own has that quality. Some say that on a small dial it's more difficult to see the time, and this is true, but when I wear long sleeves in winter it is quicker to see it in the smaller dial, as you have to move less of the sleeve to see the full dial. I especially notice this when I occasionally wear some watch with larger dial diameter, as with my Glycine Base 22. And also the lume. The light it emits at night, homogeneous, makes it so interesting in the half-light as it goes from sun to shade to night, and it is a pleasure to see how the light plays with its metallic surfaces, the dial, the hands, and the numerals. Simplicity and harmony are the secrets of this watch. In brief, no, there is no such thing. It is the closest thing for me to that definition, but there is always some but. In my review, I talked about some of the things I would improve or change, but I'm going to talk about the one thing that really stands out even though it's not a big deal. Something that sometimes bothers me a bit is the amount of text under the 12 o'clock. With my poor eyesight and when there is little light, sometimes I find it difficult to see the exact time when we are between 11 and 1 o'clock. The text is, in my opinion, too much, maybe too thick, but I am being, as I said, very picky. Okay, let's see. One of the other first disappointments was the strap with issue, which is 90mm instead of 20mm. Also, the lock holes are very close to the case, which on the other hand is not smooth, but has an indentation for the end link so that it's more secure in vertical movements. Although I have been able to adapt some leather, tropical and NATO straps quite well to the 90mm lock width, I always come back to the Oyster bracelet, which is, for the lack of a better word, sublime. The 5mm on-the-fly extension is one of the best features of this Oyster bracelet watch combination. At first I thought I wouldn't use it much, but it has turned out to be something I now find it very hard to do without. But as I say, this watch and the bracelet are one, and although it looks awesome with other leather straps, I always return to the bracelet. I have to confess that I have been hesitant because of the size, and not because I had any doubts initially. I had a Rolex 1016 design copy watch, and if there was one thing I loved about it, it was precisely the size. But people insist so much on it being too small that it makes you doubt. I'm a tall guy and I can wear almost any size, but I like more and more that a watch is comfortable, unnoticed and elegant. The 36mm size, which is a little bit big for my wife, although she can wear it, seems ideal for me. Would 36.5 or 37mm with 20mm lugs have been better? Yeah, I think so. But seems this is not the way the people at Rolex decide or think. Of course there are tastes for everything, but I encourage you to try this type of size because the diameter size number alone says very little. Sometimes this rejection to a smaller size has to do more with our own insecurities than being an objective reality. The truth is that whatever you believe, 36mm is not a small watch. It is smaller than we have been used to, but it's not an absolutely small watch. At the end of the day, everything is relative to preferences, taste, fashions, persons and type of watch. And the same goes for large watches. It depends on a lot on one's style, preferences and many other considerations. But the most important thing is that it is important to wear the watch you want and with which you feel comfortable, whether it's 32, 34, 36, 45 or 50mm, without worrying so much about what others think is the right size for you. You will be amazed at the differences depending on the lugs, cases, distance between lugs, type of watch, height, everything. Yes, it certainly could be the only watch I could stick with, but I will not. This watch with the Glycine Base 22 and the Laurier Neptune would be my perfect collection of three, and the Casio DW5600 and maybe the SKX 009 and not forgetting the Caravelle Sea Hunter Devil's Diver. I better leave this here. However, it serves to me to not want so many watches. I am now more selective as I compare everything and pass through the filter of the Explorer. That said, I have already ordered the new Trascasometer version 3 in moss green and the Christopher Ward C63 cylinder GMT, a tribute to the fantastic Rolex Explorer 2, and that I doubt I will ever get the chance to buy. But there won't be any more watches for a long time. Okay, maybe long time is a very relative word for a watch collector. The Explorer is today an icon, and as such is quite a statement of intent. I guess if I like it, it's because I see somehow myself reflected in it. I always try to be discreet, but useful. Someone who, rather than theorize endlessly, prefers to act, and at the same time, and nowadays, I prefer to go unnoticed. I like the adventure, the mountains, exploration in general, and at the same time, I like to enjoy a coffee while listening to classical music or jazz, and if possible, all to happen in the very same day. I like elegance, contemplation of the beautiful things of nature and art. This watch is a bit of a reflection of that versatility and variability that I like so much in the special objects that I treasure the most. That which defines us a little bit who and how we are. If I already liked this watch before and it was the watch of my dreams, now it's even more so. It has its flaws, its quirks, but that is already part of its charm. And yes, its scratches, its scars, and signs of adventures already lived and more to come. Which watch best represents you and why? Which watch could you not part with because it is already part of who you are? Please comment below. And thanks a lot for watching this video. Hope to see you soon. Bye bye.